All right, let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into something super important for anyone working with relational databases.
Okay.
Stress testing.
Uh-huh.
Now, you guys already know databases, right?
Yeah.
But today, we're going beyond the usual stuff.
Okay.
We're going to talk about pushing your database to the limit,
All right.
to its absolute breaking point.
Sounds good.
And we're going to use a really cool tool to help us do it called db-bain-e-chi-shinark.
I like it.
You can think of it like a pressure test.
Okay.
Like seeing how much a bridge can hold before it, before it collapses.
Right.
The point is to find that critical threshold. And I'm really excited to explore this with you.
What I think is so interesting about stress testing is it helps you really get a handle on what your database can actually do.
Yeah.
Its true capacity.
Right.
We're not just talking about how it performs on a normal day.
Uh-huh.
This is about what happens when you crank things up. Imagine a sudden flood of users all hitting your system at once.
Yeah, right. Like during some big sale.
Exactly. Or maybe a viral marketing campaign or something.
Yeah.
Stress testing, it helps you get ready for those kinds of scenarios.
It does.
So you avoid any nasty surprises.
Okay, so it's like a fire drill, but for our database.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of.
We don't actually think there's going to be a fire, but we want to know what's going to happen if things get really intense.
Right, exactly.
But why push it all the way to the breaking point?
Well,
Wouldn't it be, I don't know, safer to just stay well within, its comfort zone?
that's a good question. So here's the thing. Pushing it to its limit, really pushing it,
Yeah.
that helps us find the bottlenecks.
Bottlenecks.
Yeah, what becomes the weak link as things get busier and busier?
Uh-huh.
Is it the CPU that's struggling to keep up?
Okay.
Is the RAM getting overloaded?
Yeah.
Or is it the disk?
Sure.
You see, once you know where the bottleneck is, you can start to make things better.
All right. Okay, so finding the weak link so we can strengthen the whole chain.
Exactly.
All right. Now, tell me a bit more about this DB benchmark thing.
Sure.
What makes it so good for stress testing databases?
One of the best things about DB Benchmark is that it's actually really simple.
Okay.
It's basically a shell script,
All right.
which means it's super adaptable,
Yeah.
works with all kinds of different database systems.
Okay.
You don't need to do a whole bunch of setup. You just run a single command and the test is off and running.
I like that.
And it's designed to use these natural database patterns, like the kind of things your database would see in a real-world environment.
Okay.
It's not just some made-up test. It's simulating what actually happens when your system gets busy.
Okay, so DB benchmark is like a virtual army of users all hitting our database at once,
Uh-huh, yeah.
but in a controlled way so we can learn from it.
You got it.
I like it. But how do we actually use DB benchmark?
Uh-huh.
How do we figure out how much our database can handle?
Well, using DB Benchmark is actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
The first thing you do is you put in your database credentials.
All right.
That lets the script connect to your database.
Makes sense.
And then you got to decide how big of a test you want to run.
Okay.
Small, medium, or large.
Got it.
Depends on the size of your system.
Right.
Then you set the session range.
Session range.
Yeah. This is basically like simulating more and more users connecting to your database.
Okay.
And then you decide on the runtime for each test.
So how long each wave of users hits the database?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we're simulating a bunch of users all hitting the database for a set amount of time.
Yeah.
Sounds very systematic.
It is. And the really cool part is that DB Benchmark, it gives you these visual graphs that show you how your database performs during all these tests.
Oh, cool. So it's like having a live dashboard showing us exactly what's happening, huh?
You got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
These graphs, I bet they're really helpful. What exactly should we be looking at in those graphs?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the graphs will show you a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
CPU usage,
Okay.
run queue length,
Right.
RAM usage,
Wow.
and then all the read and write transaction rates.
Okay.
So as that user session count goes up, what you want to see is, well, which one of those things maxes out first?
Right.
For example, if your CPU is hitting like 100%, but everything else is still pretty low, that's a pretty good sign that your CPU is the problem, the bottleneck.
So it's almost like watching a race, and each one of those resources is a runner.
Yeah.
And the one that gets tired first, that's our bottleneck.
Right.
Okay, but once we know where the bottleneck is, what can we actually do about it?
Well, that's where the real optimization work comes in.
Right.
Once you've found the bottleneck, you can start looking at different ways to solve it.
Yeah.
So let's say it is the CPU.
Okay.
Well, maybe you upgrade to a more powerful processor. Maybe you tweak your database queries to make them a little less CPU intensive.
Right.
You could even think about spreading the work across multiple servers.
Interesting. So it's kind of like a detective story.
Mm.
DB benchmark helps us find the bad guy.
Right.
And then we get to use our optimization skills to, restore order.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. But what if it's not something we could just easily fix?
Yeah.
Like, what if it's a hardware limitation?
Well, even then, DB benchmark can be really useful.
Okay.
Let's say your disk I/O is the bottleneck, which is pretty common.
Okay.
What you can do is explore different ways to make data access more efficient.
Right.
You can look at caching mechanisms, or maybe even consider switching to a faster storage technology.
So DB benchmark doesn't just, point out problems. It helps us understand those problems, like what's actually causing them.
Exactly.
And it gives us the power to fix them. It's like having like a personalized roadmap for making your database better.
That's a great way to put it.
Awesome.
And remember, stress testing isn't a one-time thing.
Yeah.
It's something you should do regularly.
Okay.
Like as your data grows, as your application changes, maybe even your business needs change, DB benchmark can help you keep up with all that.
Right. So it's like a regular health checkup for your database.
Yes.
Making sure everything's running smoothly and catching any potential problems before they turn into big headaches.
Precisely. You get peace of mind knowing you've tested things out.
Yeah.
And that you've got a plan if things start to go south.
Okay, can you give us like a specific example, like a real world example?
Sure.
Of how DB benchmark might, uncover some hidden performance bottleneck?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you're in charge of a database for like an online gaming platform.
Okay.
And you notice that at peak times, like when there's tons of players online, things start to slow down.
Right.
Like players are experiencing lag.
Yeah.
And you think maybe, the database is the problem.
Okay. Sounds like a job for DB benchmark.
Exactly. So you use DB benchmark to kind of recreate those peak times, right?
Okay.
You gradually increase the number of sessions to match the number of players during those busy periods.
Right.
And as the test runs, maybe you start to see the run queue length going way up.
Okay.
But everything else, like the CPU and RAM, they're staying pretty stable.
Interesting. So the requests are piling up, waiting to be processed.
Yeah.
But CPU is not really the issue. What could be causing that?
Well, this usually points to a problem called lock contention.
It's lock contention.
Yeah, it's where you have multiple database sessions all trying to access the same data at the same time.
Okay.
And they basically get stuck waiting for each other to finish.
Okay. So it's like a traffic jam inside the database.
Exactly. Everyone's trying to get through the same intersection at the same time.
Right.
And by figuring out that it's a lock contention problem, you can start digging deeper.
Okay.
Like, are there certain queries that are holding locks for too long?
Can you make those queries more efficient so they don't need to hold the locks for as long?
Right.
Can you maybe implement a totally different locking strategy that's more efficient?
Right.
DB benchmark helps you ask those right questions.
Wow, it's amazing how DB benchmark can help you go from like, okay, something's wrong, to, this is exactly what's wrong.
Right.
That's some pretty valuable insight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about looking at one thing in isolation.
Right.
It's about looking at the whole picture.
Okay.
Look for patterns, look for correlations, even anomalies in those graphs, and you'll start to see how all these different factors work together to affect your database's performance.
So it's like piecing together a puzzle. Each one of those metrics is a clue.
I like that.
And DB benchmark, it helps us put those clues together and figure out exactly what's going on under stress.
Exactly. And like a good detective, you need the right tools to solve the case.
Right.
DB benchmark is one of those essential tools. Okay, so DB benchmark gives us the power to not just see the problem, but to understand it and then, actually fix it. So it sounds like DB benchmark isn't just for the experts.
Right.
It's something that anyone who manages a database can use.
Right. Absolutely. Whether you're, working on a small personal project
Yeah.
or managing a huge enterprise system,
Right.
stress testing is really important for understanding what your database can handle.
It's like having a safety net.
Yeah.
You know that you've tested the limits
Right.
and you have a plan if things start to get a little shaky.
Exactly. And DB benchmark gives you that framework for testing.
Yeah.
Lets you explore all these different what-if scenarios.
Right.
So you can really get a good understanding of how your system behaves under pressure.
Okay. Before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a question to think about.
Okay.
Imagine you're about to launch a new feature for your application.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to put a lot more load on your database.
Yeah.
How would you use DB benchmark to make sure that rollout goes smoothly?
That's a great question. So in that situation, I'd use DB benchmark to try to simulate the kind of traffic we expect to see with the new feature.
Okay.
I'd start by looking at the data we already have
Yeah.
to get a sense of our current peak usage patterns,
Right.
and then I'd factor in the projected increase from the new feature.
Right. So you're basically using DB benchmark to create a simulation of the future.
Exactly. It's like a dress rehearsal for your database.
I like that.
By running DB benchmark with those parameters, we can identify any potential bottlenecks before they become a problem.
Okay.
And that gives us time to optimize.
Right.
Maybe we need to fine-tune some queries, maybe add more resources,
Yeah.
maybe even rethink how we've designed certain parts of the application.
It's like having a crystal ball.
Yeah.
That shows you the problems before they even happen.
And by fixing those issues before they happen, we can launch that new feature and make sure it doesn't have any negative impact on the user experience.
This has been a really, really insightful look into database stress testing.
It has.
We've learned why it's so important,
Yes,
how DB benchmark can be this amazing tool to help us,
for sure.
and how to use it to find and fix those performance bottlenecks.
Absolutely.
So it's all about taking control,
Yeah,
making sure your database is strong and ready for anything.
you got it.
Well said. If you enjoyed today's episode,
Yeah.
be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Deep Dive for more explorations into all things tech.
Until next time.
Happy stress testing, everyone.